Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Futures Morning Leap session for Monday, July the 31st, 2017, last day of the trading day in the month of July. My name is Doug McKay. I'm the founder of Quantum Leap Futures. Each morning we get together in these live go-to sessions to take a look at the market, macro to micro, take a look at the structure of the market, and then we'll drill down to our trade levels, our targets, and our hypotheses. We do create multiple hypotheses in order to have a plan in place. Then we wait to see what the market is doing and exercise the plan that most suits what the market is doing. This is a subscription room. If you're interested in checking it out, send me an email at quantumleapfutures@gmail.com. There's no website, there's no blog. This is not a commercial venture. We do this live each day in the go-to session and then live trading and analysis during the course of the trading day. Please read through the disclaimer. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own due diligence, your own trade plan, and your own risk metrics. Excuse me. Okay, in terms of Friday, we were talking about the possibility that we'd get stuck in the wicks. I was actually traveling, but we are looking for a rotational day and getting stuck inside of Thursday's wick, and that's exactly what we got. Very tight range. 9.5 points, very Gaussian distribution here. Key thing here is that we did hold above that 61 and a quarter, the key line in the sand, and we closed right at the high of the day, and the VPOC shifted up into the close again. So each day we're seeing that the market is rallying into the close and the VPOC is shifting up and value is being accepted at a higher level. So just quickly, I didn't get set up for the news, so let me just bring up the news. Since I'm doing this from the cottage, I'm just running a little bit late. We did have news at 8:30. Canadian RMPI came out just slightly less than expected. IPPI came out at -1, whereas expected at 0.3. 9:45 we've got U.S. Chicago PMI. 10 o'clock we've got pending home sales. And that's about it in terms of news. Just looking forward for the week. Tomorrow, the big news will be 10 o'clock, the ISM manufacturing PMI, but there's a fair amount of news throughout the day, or throughout the morning, I should say. Then on Wednesday, we've got ADP non-farm employment change. That will be the big one for the day. And then we've got crude inventory at 10:30 Eastern time. Thursday, fair amount of news coming out of Great Britain in the morning session, but the big one for the U.S. will be the unemployment claims at 8:30, and then the ISM non-manufacturing PMI at 10 o'clock. And then Friday, we've got a whole slew of news that'll move this market at 8:30 Eastern time. We've got employment change, trade balance, unemployment rate, hourly wage, non-farm employment change, that's the big one, and the unemployment rate. So a fair amount of news coming into the latter part of the week. I do want to just quickly take a look at the commitment of trader report. And just looking at this, the retail is still net short and getting more net short. Commercial seems to be holding steady, but it is still net short. But you can see that the large spec continues to get net positive. So this market is not looking, in terms of the commitment of traders, is not looking like it's ready to roll over anytime soon. Of course, we're in the heat of the earnings session. Got a fair amount of earnings this week. Today, let me just sort this by popularity. We've got New Residential, it was a beat. Alliance Resources, it was a beat. CNI Financial was a beat. Lowe's hit. Diamond Offshore. So again, we continue to see that these earnings are still positive. Let's take a look at after the market. After the market, we've got Pandora coming out, Advanced Energy, Cognex, US Silica, Silicon Motion Tech. So a fair amount today. Then tomorrow, just seeing which ones are going to be the big ones. Well, we got Shopify tomorrow, and Under Armour, and Pfizer, and Sprint. Those are all going to be fairly big ones. And then let's take a look at Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday seems to be the two biggest day. Wednesday we've got SodaStream and Groupon. Groupon being the big one. Molson Coors, Time Warner, Apollo. And then just take a look at Thursday. So most of the FANGs are already out. Chesapeake, Teva Pharmaceutical, Allergen. Still right in the heart of earnings seasons, but they seem to be holding out up quite nicely. So taking a look at the macro to micro, I like to start my day each day looking at the monthly, drilling down using a 9 EMA, 20 SMA. You can see we've got good slope and separation on the monthly. I mean, this monthly trend is just one time framing up and is just a beautiful, beautiful, strong trend. Going to the weekly, we ended up, just closing just slightly positive. Our week open last week was 69.75, and they they held above it, closed just above it at 71 on the close on Friday. Our week open this week is 24.70.50. And you can see that we're above that right now, and this trend is still one time framing up on the weekly as well. We don't even challenge the trend until we get back down to the 24.46 level. Going to the daily, you can see that we've got a bit of a flag formation here, but you can see that even though we keep dipping down below the 9 EMA, we keep closing above it. So we're holding that 9 EMA. But once we do fail, look at this naked cross down here at 24.29 That would be our target if we don't hold the 20 SMA. So just keeping that in mind, that is a valid target right now on the daily, but it is on a daily time frame, so we have to keep that in check. Got a little bit of a cup and handle formation here on the 4 hour. We just came up and closed that naked cross that we put in on Friday in the Globex session, and we were talking about that on the Friday morning session, and we've come up in the Globex of Monday to get that closed out, and we're now back holding above the 9 and the 20, so this could be a cup and handle continuation pattern on the 4 hour. On the 1 hour, you can see that we had a FUBAR Mr. Sneaky here. We came down, almost closed the technical gap, but see how the price is paralleling the 9 now? So I would consider this to be a closed out FUBAR Mr. Sneaky and a trend continuation. We still have a naked cross up here at 24.77. I would be looking at that as a primary target for today. Going to the 30-minute, you can see same thing. FUBAR, Mr. Sneaky. Actually, we had a double Mr. Sneaky, and then we come down, close that technical gap, and now we're holding above the 9 and getting a continuation pattern. Very, very strong upward movement right now in most of the time frames. Going to the 15-minute, exactly the same thing. FUBAR, Mr. Sneaky, close the technical gap, chop around, hold the 20, and now we're getting continuation with a little bit of weakness, but not much. If anything, the 5-minute is going to be the first one that we see that we've come down, closed below the 9. We're testing the 20 right now, so I would be watching this 24.73 area very closely to see if we do not hold this upward trend pattern on the 5-minute and get possibly the start of what could be a downward trend in some of the other time frames. Taking a look at the big picture, you can see that this all started with this consolidation here on the microcomposite that ran from May 25th through until the breakout day on the 14th. Then we come up, we hold value above the balance area, accept price at the 57.50 area, gap up again, hold price for another 3 days up in the 69. Then it shifted up to the 74 area, but we couldn't hold it. And on Thursday, they went down. Where did they go? Right back to that where they accepted price after the breakout. That's classic auction logic. Found their buyers again, and then they rotated back up, closed back inside of balance, back above the microcomposite. Now, if I add Friday into this, you can see that the 8-day. Is it 8-day? Yeah, 8-day microcomposite is still sitting, the VPOC at 69. And we spent Friday just auctioning the unauctioned territory and got stuck in the wick from Thursday. So we've got a clear distribution here. It's becoming a double distribution with the LVN, the microcomposite LVN, at 72.50, and two undetermined fair values, one at the 74.50 and one at 69. So that's going to be our over underline today at 72.50. There's also an LVN at 73. I'm sorry, not an LVN, a Globex VPOC at 73. The LVN is just slightly lower at 70 and a quarter. But it's going to be tough in this area because you can see that the microcomposite value area is sitting right on that composite high volume node, and you can see there's some undetermined fair value just above, but clear double distribution. Our key line in the sand is still going to be that 61 and a quarter. So just watch that. If we get below that, then look for the target of 57. But this time we're not likely to find those buyers again at the 57.50, and we're likely to push down and test the top of the microcomposite. That longer time frame balance area and come down and test that 51.75 area. And if that doesn't hold, then I think we get our bigger pullback. But right now, this market is still looking strong. We're going to be gapping up again today. You can see that if we hold above the 71, we're going to be in a gap area. The 20-period ATR is running at 1410. So if we take a look at the Globex session, trying to find room for everything on my screen here. In the Globex session, your inventory is about 60% net positive. We auctioned, went down to that 66 and a quarter, put the low of the night in at 66 and a quarter, so our overnight low. is down at 66 and a quarter. And then we kind of just chopped around that area, creating a HVN at the 68. So that's right by that 69 area. And then when Europe opened up, they took us right up, went up to the 74, 75, came back to the VWAP. We had a lower fractal high, but our fractal lows continue to hold above the VWAP, and we just got to move and put in a new high. So I'll be watching the fact that we've got this new fractal high that's going to show up at 75 to see if we put in another higher fractal low. The overnight VPOC is not likely to change, so it's 73. So our overnight high is up to 75. Our overnight VPOC is 73. And based on our daily ATR off of the low overnight of 66 and a quarter, our ATR, our upside ATR is up at 80.50. So basically right at the all-time high. Critical mass is not an issue. Now, our monthly critical mass, okay, is way below us. And this is going to be a key here today because our month open is 24.22. So if we add the 1 day range that we've got left, the average true range of 1410, our monthly critical mass is all the way down here at 36 area. So we're nowhere near hitting critical mass. So I don't think that's going to be an issue in terms of whether or not we're going to end up with a positive month. We are going to end up with a positive month unless we get a major sell-off today, which is not likely. So watch for the possibility at some point in time today in the afternoon, if we're holding up here, especially if we're still above the prior day range, that the sellers capitulate and the buyers take control, and we get critical mass kicking in and moving us up into new all-time highs on a light volume drift. Our overnight high, of course, is 75. So if I take off the 1 day ATR of 1410, our downside ATR is now at 61. It's actually 60.75. And that's basically right below our key line in the sand. Oh, I don't want to do that. Send it back. Okay. So in terms of our hypotheses, we are going to open auction out of range. If we open right here, 74 and 71 on the close, so our half gap fill is 72.50, and that's one tick above the naked close there. So I'm going to have a trade area that's going to be right at that 72.50 for a couple different reasons. It's the half gap fill if we open up at 74 or thereabouts, but more importantly, it is the composite LVN that separates these two distribution zones. So if we get below the 72.50, I'm looking for that that naked close to get taken out, but more importantly, I'm looking for the gap to be filled and a move down to 71. So that's going to be an actual target for me rather than a trade entry opportunity. And then where I'm going to be looking for a trade opportunity is right here at the 69 area. Okay, that is just below the value area, which is a very valid value area from Friday because of the Gaussian distribution, and the naked VPOC at 69, which is also the main target and the price acceptance at the 69 area. So that is going to be, it's also our value area high from Friday. And then if we don't hold that, then I'm looking for a complete trip through value and down to test the value area low down here at 65 and a quarter, taking out the overnight high, I'm sorry, overnight low. And then the key line in the sand and our daily downside ATR target. Let me just add that in. Is that 61 and a quarter. Anything below that, I'm targeting the 57.50 right in front of that, range low from Thursday, and that CHVN at 57.50. It's also the 57.50 microcomposite VPOC, or where they accepted value after the breakout of the longer term time frame. Weekly critical mass doesn't mean anything here. Our previous all-time high, of course, is down at 51.50. So if we break below this 57, I'm looking for a push down to take out the naked VPOC at 54 and a quarter, and a push down to test that previous all-time high. And then I'd be looking for this move back into this area right here and possibly all the way down. Remember that the 40.75 is the 2-day price acceptance, where they accepted price above the value area of this longer time frame microcomposite. I mean, the big destination will be down here to the 35.50 if we do not bounce off of that 40.75. So that's going to be a critical area for us. So in terms of hypotheses, we're going to be opening auction out of range. So of course, one of my main two hypotheses has got to be a open test drive, but my main hypothesis is an open auction out of range, a push down into the 72.50, most likely come down and close this gap and come down into the 69 area, chop around here, balance out, make a higher low, and then break back out and go up. And the main target above is going to be the 77 area, which is that naked cross on the 1 hour. And of course the 78 area, which is that naked VPOC. So Hypo 1, open auction out of range, a move down into the 69 area, possibly even coming down into the 66, 65, but looking for responsive buyers inside the value area, and rotating us up, and coming up and eventually targeting the 77, 78. That is my Hypo 1. Hypo 2 is a open test drive, a move down to the 72.50, 72 and a quarter, leaving the gap alone and getting a gap and go day, and finding initiative buyers on the open, and then taking out the overnight high, coming up into the 77, 78, chopping around here, and then pushing through and coming up into making a new all-time high above the 80.50 and taking out that measured move at 82 and a quarter. Hypo 3, which has got a equal opportunity to Hypo 1 and Hypo 2, which is rare, is an open auction out of range, a push up, either a failure to make a new high above the Globex 75 high, or a false breakout, even a push up into the 77, but somewhere between 75 and 78, finding responsive sellers, rotating us back down and coming back down and chopping between the 61 and the 71 area, back inside of this distribution zone around the 69. And then Hypo 4 is a open auction out of range, a push up, and then basically chopping inside the upper distribution of the prior day, of the Thursday breakout day and just chopping and going sideways between the 85 and the 75 area and getting a gap balance day in the upper distribution from Thursday. And then the alternative, which is less likely, but Thursday was a less likely scenario, would be a failure to take out the 75, a move down quickly into the 66 area, chop around there, fail, push down into the 57 area, chop around there, and come down and test this 54 to 51 area as a take back day and a rebalancing back into this lower distribution where we've got low volume here. So those are my main hypotheses. Taking a look at the gold. You can see that Friday we were talking about finding chop around that 69 area. They found the buyers, and what do? They push up. They failed to hold above that CLVN at 73, and we're sitting right below that right now. So the key line to watch is that 73 on gold. If we break above it, I'm still looking for us to come back up into the 75. I would be looking for a new high. And then see this day right here that is back on the, what day was it? June the 14th. See this wick right here? This was not properly auctioned, so we're likely to come up here and mature this distribution zone inside of this wick. The big destination, of course, above us still is going to be in the 94 and 95 area. You can see the microcomposite VPOC at 94. They tried to hold value after failing to get to 1300. They tried to hold value at the 95.50, and that's what started this big move down all the way down to the 1204, so almost a 100-point move. And now we've got our rotation back up, and we're just stair-stepping our way up back towards that 1300. If we do not get above the 73, look for them to rotate back towards the 69.40, and if they don't bounce there, a push through down to the 62.80, 63 area. So that's going to complete our pre-market session. As you know, I'm at our cottage, so I'm not doing a lot of trading. So my goal is to do these pre-market sessions and then turn the room over to Marvin. I'll leave my charts up and running. Depending on if I'm around, I'll check back periodically to make sure that there's still, I haven't lost internet. One thing to note, because of the fact that I couldn't move my account over to Iron Beam, I'm no longer an S5 member, and they basically have cut me off. So I won't be able to use the S5 book map. I've got to get it set up through one of my other data feeds, and I'm just not going to have time to do that today, or bother to do it today. In the next few days, I'll try to get my book map set up. The problem, though, is I only have so much geography on this screen. So right now, I'm just going to leave the setup with the market profile, the daily, the 30-minute bracket chart, and the composite, and my Renko chart, and have Marvin controlling the room as best he can. Anyway, that's going to complete our pre-market session. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we will catch you on the flip side.